moment, just a moment before we get started.
Where
are you watching us from today?
Yeah, and while they're doing that, we also got to say, Nick, tomorrow we got a big guest coming on tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Coach Sam Shea.
Yeah, and it's a return guest. It's a return guest. I think Coach Shea is with the quickest one to double back on us. Ain't it? We ain't never had one double back that quick, have we, Mr. Campbell?
Listen. I'm gonna tell you this, and we're gonna talk about this since we got time. I want to really talk about what Sam Shade and T.C. Taylor did at their celebration bowl. All the coaches, but Sam Shade, I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys got to watch the Legacy Bowl. Sam Shea let y'all know he got a person. Hey man, we'll talk about that, But hey man, Coach Shea let y'all know he got a personality. People talk about, Coach Shea, Coach Shea was about his business.
Well, we know a coach that started off in college, won championships in college, went to the pros, won championships in the pros. I think he won 6 bowl games. His name is he's coaching now, named Belichick. You want to talk about no personality? That's no personality at all. So that has nothing to do with coaching. But I always like to brag on our show. I think we called this one. We called this one early in the year with Sam Shea headed to the A&M Huntsville. We matched that up. It was like we called that. People ought to listen to us a little bit.
Yeah, I think both you and Bishop kind of said that was I know Bishop was very adamant about that being such a natural fit for Sam Shea to become the head coach at Alabama A&M. It seemed like the right thing, but we all know just because it seems right, that doesn't mean that it always happens. But in this case, it did, and I think
But here's the difference when we get sometimes guys in those positions, CEOs in those positions, head coaches. At least with Sam Shea, we got some things to hang on. 2 state champions, SIAC champion. You know what I mean? Played for the University of Alabama champion. Played in the pros. We got something to hang a hat on to say, man, I could put my money on this, that he's going to do well, And sometimes, of course, and we're going to get into that, these hiring practices, sometimes these guys get in these positions and you look in it's just like betting on horses. You know what I'm saying? You look at the horse and see where he been at and see where he placed at. You guys are horse bettors?
Yes, yeah. I actually love it. I love the ponies, Coach.
Yeah, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you get to look at his pedigree. You look what he did last time when he was at the track. You look at who his mother and father was, and
that's right.
And all those things factor into what kind of horse they'll be. Whether they're a mutter, or somebody who likes a clean track. Whether they need blinders on. But here's the deal, Coach. Here's the deal with horses. This is a secret. I'm gonna give y'all a tip for y'all bettors. A lot of it's got to do with the horse. But in my opinion, 70% of it got to do with the jockey. Because the jockey can get things out of certain horses that other jockeys can't get. I'm just telling you.
So once again, you got to check up on that jockey and see where he's placed at in other races. Yeah. I like that analogy. We talking now.
Yeah. So if you go to Louisiana Downs, not only check the pedigree of the horse, but also check the win-loss percentage of the jockey. That'll tell you something as well.
Well, that's kind of leading us to our subject tonight, since Mr. Jenkins wasn't able to make it, is what is the hiring process going on? You know what I mean? And are some of these things discussed? Where has jockey been at? And where has horse been at? And those type of things. And, when it comes to HBCU, and I want to get our audience involved and let them kind of shoot us. I know some of my business people and, are hiring officers, and we just want to just kind of get that out there on the process. But one thing, we still got one university hadn't hired a head coach yet. And Fort Valley, I mean, just hired one maybe a week or two ago. And, why we take so long, to hire a coach, and, and why sometimes, we don't,
The only participant in the conference.
Yeah, we open up that phone line, Coach. I open up that phone line.
Good.
Just so you know, let me throw the number up there so they can get in on this. Go ahead.
Right. And, what is the process? When you got, and why is there such a difference between PWIs and Historic Blacks about how we go about hiring our coaches and our leaders? And we're going to discuss all that. We're going to throw our opinion in why some of the difference. And the thing about it, they pay these guys millions. I'm talking about, what's the highest paid coach now, Bishop? Probably about 10 million. Head football coach, and now they're paying coordinators millions. And you know what I'm saying? And in a basic hiring practice, we all been hired. You fill the application out, and then they call you in for an interview. And then if you move to the next part, then they do a background check on you. You know what I mean? But the background check ain't at the barbershop. You know what I'm talking about, Rocky? The background check ain't a bunch of, folk got together and say some stuff about some. Because one thing I know in this business, since I've been in it, is whenever a job open up, and then people start talking about the perfect fit for the job. We do that. But then all that does is open up other people, Bishop. Man, that mug ain't no good. Man, back in 1978, man, he did this and this came out and this came out, and man, you see the newspaper article, man, but for some reason our counterparts don't do that. So I'm opening up the floor, you guys, and then we talking. We want our public to call in and talk to Coach.
I want to ask Coach, the Bishop, this, and I'll back out up. It seems like to me. Okay, let me bring this up. Scotty has a segment on the Off Script show that he calls Word on the Street, right? And in the Word on the Street, he lets people know this ain't news, this ain't verifiable facts, this ain't sourced. This is just what? Word on the street. Word on the street. And it seems to me that word on the street, when it comes to hiring coaches, head football coaches, right? That on weighs a large
level.
At the HBCU level, that weighs a lot on who's hired and who's not hired. And I just want to ask you, because you're a historian, Mr. Campbell. Does word on the street does it have the perceived influence that I believe it has in who's hired and who's not, or is it just much to do about nothing? Word on the street.
So wait a minute, are you talking about something in their background, or are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. As it relates to this person's qualifications and their history.
Well, let me say this. I won't say the school because they'll get mad, but they're going to know who I'm talking about. There was a school in the SWAC that got a president, and all the alumni had heard word on the street about how this president kind of got down. And they said, we do not want this guy to be the president of our university, because the word on the street, the powers that be, made him the president. Needless to say, what they said he was doing, he ended up doing, and they had to fire him. So does it make a difference? Absolutely. Because people, and see, the one thing about it, and Coach, you know this, everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows somebody. You're not going to, especially when you're a high profile person. And I'll tell you this too. You got two factions. You got the faction that want the guy. You got the faction that don't want the guy. You know what the people that don't want him, they're going to try to find out everything about that guy. And you're going to hear all types of things. So then it goes,
whether it's true or not.
Whether it's true or not. Then what happens is look, we'll talk about Grambling. Look at what Art Browse, right? They were going to bring our brows in. That Grambling G started rolling. That's not what we're about. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm not going to get into that. But that it was public opinion. And Doug Williams came down there with that hammer and said, Grambling, this is not what Grambling about. That guy can't be hired. Right? That's exactly what happened to him.
Right.
I'll use FAMU. Coach Gibbs potentially was going to be the FAMU coach. Potentially, right? Popular opinion said, wait a minute. This ain't how we about to do this. Look at what happens. So absolutely that plays into it. And the same thing, which, again, on the positive side. And let's talk about a little bit positive. Jackson State people wanted T.C. Taylor to be that coach. That was no secret. That fan base, and they made it known. This is the guy that should be. Now, I'm not saying that Ashley Robinson wasn't going to make him that, but the fan base did let them know that they wanted that man, and it was the right choice. The fans knew. So it happens all the time. So
let me ask you this here, Coach, and I'll bring Coach Cole into this. When we rely on word on the street to be a part of the hiring process, right? How fair is it to not only the candidates selected, but all the candidates in the candidate pool?
Bishop.
Did y'all hear me?
Yeah. Wait a minute, I thought you were talking to coach. I thought you were talking to coach.
Whoever wanted to address that.
Well,
how fair is it to the candidates selected and the candidates in the candidate pool when word on the street has influence on the decision that's being made?
This is what happens when administration you have I don't think taking count of what does a football program bring. Brings the first of the year, it brings the band, it brings homecoming, it's the biggest ambassador on the campus. And when I say about what administrator is it about we want to win, and winning is important. And we understand how winning is important. So it almost goes back to how many presidents have been presidents of a winning program to see the magnitude of what it brings to a university. Take one out your book all the time. Last 24 years, how many guys who have won a SWAC championship is still coaching?
One.
Yeah, and none of them are head coaches. Unless we take T.C. Taylor.
No, that's what I'm saying. The only one I'm saying, the last 24 years, the only coach in the SWAC, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a head coach and has won a championship is T.C. Taylor, and he won it this year.
And then you can even go further, Bishop, of how many of them are on staffs. So not only is it happening up in the big office, it's actually happening in the football room, where we're not hiring guys who have won championships. So let me ask you guys this. Does that hurt the quality of the overall game? Does that hurt our quality of putting good product on the football field? Bishop or Rocky?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bishop.
Well, here's the thing. I think, this goes back to what we were talking about. A great AD understands the lay of the land, but a great AD also understands, because he's there every day, what's best for a university. See, that's why you have that, because a great AD will say, hey, I'm not going, because the wind blows different every day, right? The wind blows different every day. So you can have some people liking somebody today, and because, especially on social media, not liking them tomorrow. I'm running into that with one of my classmates is trying to get a job at FAMU. Somebody put some stuff out there. Now we fighting for him. Everything was good, but now we got to fight for him. So these are things that I think when you have a strong AD that people believe in, that has a track record. But again, how many championship ADs do we have? Goes back to that point, right?
That's it.
That has a track record of hiring championship coaches that have shown that they can get people in the stands because of their marketing efforts and things like that. See, we've got to, again, this goes back to this brain drain. And I actually had a conversation with this. You got a lot of people that want to come back and work for their universities, but they know the politics that come with it. And they're like, well, why? And no disrespect to a lot of these are great times, but these are not major cities these places are in, right? So if you're in Atlanta, Chicago, Charlotte, Dallas, Houston, and you're going to come work in Intervena, Mississippi, Tallahassee, Florida, it's got to be right. Because you're like, I can stay in Atlanta and deal with the BS and come down here to Tallahassee, Florida. Because the quality of, just the overall quality of living, you got to want to be in those cities. You got to love that school. So a lot of that has to do with who are the ADs now. So a lot of the ADs, they get mad, they get criticized. But the question is, they're always on the clock. They're always on the clock.
Well, you win championships, guys, in the president's office, because everything got to roll down, because everything's got to be treated. And because I had experience working at PWI schools, more than one, I could see that they prepare different. And I'll use my comparison. When you show up in the HBCU school in the fall, which they know they have football, we've been playing football for over 100 years. You got to fight on is the dorm ready? You got to fight is the financial stuff ready? It's almost, and then of course this compliance issue. Okay, and I'm not down on them, but we got to get better, right? When you're at the PWI schools, it's like everybody on board. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody on board. Everybody knows their role. It's football time. I just try to understand it, as you say, it starts with the athletic director too, is why is that? And maybe I'm asking our crowd, why is that? Our audience, why is that? You know what I'm saying? We can read a couple of these as we go, Rocky.
That's my homeboy right there, Steve Bouye, very influential in the Atlanta metro area. Them put a lot of guys in the pros, has a very prominent AAU program, and he works out of Atlanta. His son was a great NFL football player, AJ Bouye. Yeah, man. And he says everything going on with HBCU is the dollar sports is not important. That's one of the things that I always bring up, Steve. Steve, if HBCUs were to, in my opinion, if HBCUs were to take athletics truly serious, like their counterparts have over the past 40 years, it potentially could be a cash cow for the university. That's what I sincerely believe. Coach.
And my thing is, what are the hiring processes? You know what I mean? Let's talk about for a minute. Let's switch gears and continue. We already know that evidently football is not that important, because this is why I say that. Every good CEO, whether it's the AD is where's our football program at? I think that's always got to be established. What our philosophy going to be, and where's our program? We want our program at. And if we want it at the top, then that's what we're going to do. We want to go get the top person out there, you know what I mean, for our dollar. And sometimes you might have to take a shot on a guy that, quote unquote, what Scotty shows on, what the people say?
Celebrity coach?
No, about the word on the street.
Word on the street, yeah.
The word on the street, Bishop, in HBCU football is heavy, man. Is heavy, coach. You know what I mean? And so I'm saying that to say, okay, all right, we just come off a championship. Let's say you talked about the AD at Jackson State, which he's a good one. Dion wins championship. They leave. They got a championship team. Why bring somebody in there? You know what I mean? Somebody new when you got somebody there, and he's alumnus of the school. You know what I'm saying? That's a no-brainer. But at FAMU, we wanted somebody there, and we damn near missed that one, Bishop. You know what I mean? Y'all just came up a championship year. And it was a good thing hiring Cozy, who knew. But then there's some other programs that are perennial losing programs. So what would you go look for, audience? If you're a perennial losing program, you continue to hire guys with no experience. You continue to hire young guys. You continue to say, oh, well, we can't pay a high-profile coach, which I don't believe that because most coaches coach because they love the game. So to the audience, then what do you do? Who do you hire? Do you continue doing the same thing?
Well, okay, let
we got 24 championship coaches that's on the shelf.
Well, let me play the devil's advocate. Okay, so I'm going to name a couple of squads because it's going to be UAPB, Mississippi Valley, Delaware State, and Norfolk State. A lot of those coaches coach, and again, you would know better than me, but this goes back to how many of those coaches want to get into a situation where they know there's no success there. Would you go in a place where you know more likely than not then there's failure? Now, here's the thing. I think Delaware State, and I definitely know Norfolk has the ability to be there. But if I'm a coach, I'm not going to Mississippi Valley. I just know the resources are not there. I'm not going to Mississippi Valley. I'm going to wait for a better opportunity. I'm not going to UAPB. No disrespect to UAPB, but I'm just talking about if you look at the overall conference and where the hierarchy of teams that are championship teams or teams that are ascending, like Alabama State, right? Team like Prairie View that's ascending. The ones that are kind of, hanging around and saying we want to get to that blue blood level. So again, you look at what the coach did, what the AD did at Delaware State. They've hired coaches with experience. They went down that road. It still didn't work. So they're just like, you know what?
Can I say, first and foremost, you got to understand being a head football coach is few far between. Just everybody don't get that opportunity. So when you say, oh, man, I got an opportunity to be a head coach. No, man, I'm not going to take it. That ain't happening, coach. 90% of the time, if I'm an assistant coach somewhere and a head job open up and they want me to come, 90% of the time, 99% of the time, that guy's going to take that job.
So you're telling me that a guy could be at a FAMU, a Jackson State, a North Carolina Central.
As an assistant? Yes.
As an assistant, and they're going to take the job at Valley?
Yes.
And not wait a minute, and not wait and say, you know what? Maybe Alabama A&M comes over, like Sam Shade did. He's just going to go there because once that gets on your resume, when you go 0-11, because let's go look at Valley's last record. You go 1-11, 2-10.
Now, you know what that's called? That's called 2020, meaning, damn, I should have took this job. You know what I'm saying? I should have. And what you said got stability to it. You know, it does. But people don't look at it. I mean, coaches don't look at it that way. They look at it as an opportunity. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier, Bishop, about what do we need here to get this program going right? Because Pine Bluff, you know, they kept Coach Coleman for 10 years. And Coach Coleman had 2 winning seasons. But guess what they were? 2 SWAC championships. So he was able to try to get it going. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was saying about how important it's like we don't have no guardrails on our hiring process. Well, or no requirements, because when you listen to the word in the street, you know what I mean, and some newspaper article, instead of just going through the human resource department and finding out, you know, what's what, just like you know, in the process of being a teacher, you know, I think that hurts a lot of people. Nobody's perfect.
Well, Coach Campbell, Coach Cole, let me just draw. I'm just gonna pluck a school out, and I'm gonna use Norfolk as an example. They had a coach, and I don't remember who the coach was before Odom, but they had a coach that had what I would consider, if you look at his resume, that was improving the program slowly but surely, right? He hadn't won a championship, but he was improving the program, right? They let him go for all accounts, who's an established head coach at Southern, who had won some divisional championships, and who was, by any measure, you could say was successful as a head coach at Southern and they installed him as their head coach, gave him security, and paid him well, right? And I asked you, Coach, for doing that, what did they get in return?
So what I'm gonna say to you is, for every one of those coaches, I'm gonna name you 2 that's done that.
No, Coach. I'm
you see what I'm saying? That they took a chance. I mean, not took a chance, but hired a championship coach that went on to leave that school a champion, and then go to the next school a champion, and then hire the next school.
Coach, here's the reality, though, Coach. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Campbell. There's not a deep pool of championship coaches that are available to HBCUs. If I'm wrong by saying that, Campbell, correct me.
No, you're right.
Well,
so who do you go get though?
Go ahead. Here's the thing, Coach. And what you say has some validity to it. But Coach, when you all win a championship, then next thing you know you're on the shelf. It's like that's it. You know, I said this a long time ago. I said, dang, it seems like when you're a head coach of HBCU school and then you end up getting out, man, it's hard as hell get back in, or you don't get back in at all no more.
Hey, let me just take a moment, Coach Cole. I want to welcome our brother, the host of the Zone Coverage podcast on YouTube. He's doing a great job with that. I wanted to bring him on for this conversation because we're having a discussion about the inconsistencies among hiring in HBCUs. And I want to just frame the conversation. Sometimes they give guys with very little experience a chance. Sometimes they take guys from winning programs and install those programs. And sometimes they get a guy that is not familiar with HBCUs as a position coach, maybe even a coordinator, and install those guys as head coach. And they all seem to get similar or the same results, So I wanted to bring you on that conversation. Is there a formula that works for HBCUs as far as what is the best? We look at your guy, T.C. Taylor. He was already on the staff at Jackson State, right? That didn't do well. Deion comes along and improves the program, right? T.C. Taylor is hired. He goes out and wins a championship in his second year. For all intents and purposes, TC is a successful coach. 2 years in, looked like he's building something really special. Could you have known this by looking at TC's resume, Zoe?
I would say yes and no. Depends on the lens you want to look at it, right? You know, now granted, me being a Jacksonian, I have a different lens to what it looks like, maybe to somebody from outside of Jackson, right? Because I can actually go back to even when TC was on the staff, and before I even go into it, what's up, Rocky? What's up, Coach? What up, because I'm being rude. I could even say, even when TC got hired for the job, being on prime staff, right? Remember, his accolade, he didn't add on to his resume, even when he got the job, remember? Because the only thing that he changed at that point in time was he took over OT duties for about 3 games for the time that Prime was there. But his resume prior to being on prime staff, none of this changed. He was who he was. You see what I'm saying? Now, the thing that, you know, that makes TC a great hire was, I remember I caught a lot of flack, but I stand like a prophet right now because I told everybody when he got hired, I said TC was a home run hire for Jackson State, and Jackson State under TC Taylor is going to have a W.C. Gordon feel to it. And I stand charged to that, right? Because it's a lot of moving parts to that. But to your point, Rocky, in regards to any HBCU job, every single job has special characteristics, and they're all different. They're not all the same. There are so many different moving parts from being in different states. Everything is different. So what looked good and what could be tailor-made, let's just say if the Southern job came open, right? Yeah, some guys can win at different places, but some jobs, it takes a special type of situation and a special type of coach to take over that particular job. You can't hire a coach for every single job in the HBCU landscape. They're not the same. They're not the same. So in some instances, yes, you need to, get lightning in the bottle. Sometimes you need a proven record. Sometimes you need a proven thing. But and I'm going to say this too, every winning coach can't win at every school.
Well, let me say this. Let me butt in since I'm the coach over here. One thing about it, and you talk about T.C. Taylor, he came from a championship program under Jerry Mack at North Carolina Central. So he knows a winning program. He knows the players in the makeup of taking North Carolina Central. Rod Broadway, North Carolina Central, championship coach. Grambling State, championship coach. A&T, championship coach. Pete Richardson, Winston-Salem, championship coach. Southern University, championship coach, right? L.C. Cole, Tennessee State championship coach. Alabama State coach. Barlow took over after that, still championship coach. Rick Comergy, all right, Central State championship coach, Tuskegee championship coach, Jackson State championship coach.
Oh, sorry right there. Rick Comergy didn't end at Jackson State.
I know. Can I finish? Yeah, he went to Mississippi Valley
and did what?
He did. I'm taking that. But what I'm saying is, guys that have been in championship programs, and I don't know if you heard me earlier, Zoe, I was saying the school, if they're taking their football programs important, they would go in there and they would really see what we need, meaning we're going to hire a football coach. Not a guy to come in the interview and talk about God, not a guy in the interview talking about praying and all that kind of stuff. We want a football coach. I mean, I would think that I want a guy that's been in the program and tell me how you going to turn this program around and where have you done it at? Because I'm tired of losing. I get it, guys. Y'all broke my back on celebrity coaches. I get it. Great try, and we'll see. We'll talk about this again next year, and we'll see how that works out.
Joe, hold on. Let me jump in here. Let me jump in here.
Let me add this one real quick. See, Coach, I think that's where you're missing the ball at. See, I'm gonna use me. I can't speak for Rocky, and I can't speak for Steve. See, I think that's where the demarcation is. I don't think maybe Rocky, but I'm not all for celebrity hires. See, a certain hire for a particular school could be a home run thing. I never said that and I think none of us are. If it's a good, for example, I think Sam Shea is a damn good hire at Alabama A&M, right? For all the reasons like T.C. Taylor being a damn good hire at Jackson State. But I'm telling you to your face, I don't think Sam Shea is a damn good hire at Delaware State. I don't.
100%.
This is why I disagree. This is why I disagree with you on that. Of course, he coached in high school, won 2 state titles, right? He took over a bad program at Miles, and as you see, he went what 5-6, maybe 8-3 championship.
Coach, here's the thing.
He's been a champion himself.
Here's the thing that you're not getting, Coach.
Well, I think. I'm talking facts. I'm talking facts. These are facts. You guys are talking about dreams.
No,
I'm talking facts.
No, I'm not. I haven't denied.
You can't tell me that Sam Shea couldn't coach nowhere in America and win. We'll see.
I haven't denied or went against anything that you said. That's what I'm saying. You're not hearing me. Here's the thing. See, do you know the reason why you want a good resume? See, the thing is that you're not saying is all of us in all things, we want guarantees. There are no guarantees in none of this. That's why you want a good resume. That's why you're speaking to, he's done this and he's done this and he's done this. But Coach, guess what? Just like you say, well, I'll give you that with Comergy. I can name a lot of other coaches that were winners that went to other places that did not win. There are no guarantees in any of it. Because
what I want you to do, let's put number to number. You name those coaches that come from losing programs have turned around, and for every one you name, I'm gonna name 2 coaches that came from championship programs that went on to win. So go ahead, go ahead.
Name who?
And don't let's get in the PWIs when Nick Saban don't want everywhere he don't be in. You know what I'm saying? Belichick don't want everywhere he don't be in. He'll keep going.
North Carolina.
At Cleveland.
Mac Brown don't want everywhere he don't be in.
No,
I mean,
he
We just was talking, so, and I'm gonna let you talk. I don't want to overtalk you, but we're just talking about horse racing and how you bet on a horse, and it's the same thing as a resume. You got to have something that you can hang yourself on. When I'm talking to a guy about, okay, I want you to drive my car, but he can't tell me, man, I rode the bicycle and we was in the bicycle race and in the go-kart race. I want to know if he drove a NASCAR and won the Talladega SWAT, something to tell me. It's something about a winner, guys. That has it.
But here's the thing. Every program isn't the same. Watch this, because I'm going to use Deion Sanders because it's a damn good quote, right? What constitutes as a win? Because just winning a game doesn't equate to a win fame across the board at every school, because every school isn't the same. Like for example, okay, Valley, we know Valley resources and everything else, but if Valley win 5 games, that's almost like Valley won 8 or 9 games, right? Because it's Valley. Not every job is the same. So, for example, Delaware State taking the stance, we're talking about a program that's won 40% of its games, coach. So guess what? And they've hired successful coaches before. They've hired and they've took some risk as well. They've gone about it the way that you suggest that they do it. What do they have to show for it? Nada. I tell you what, Valley went and got a Rick Comity, who won at Jackson State, won at Tuskegee. What did they benefit from it? Nothing. They took a chance on his defensive coordinator. What did they get? Nothing. Hold on. Valley got Willie Titan. You know what I'm saying? Closer to the SWAC. What did he do? He had 1 winning season and he was 6-5. Right? Mm-hmm. Before then, they had my guy that used to wear the hard hat during the games. I forget his name right now, but Steve probably know who I'm talking about. During the late 80s, they had a semblance of success with him. So what I'm saying is, it makes a difference if Valley goes out and say, you know what?
Is that the gunslinger?
Huh? Dorsey, Larry Dorsey. Larry Dorsey, head coach. Larry Dorsey had a couple 6-5 seasons. So it makes sense for Valley to say, you know what? We've done it this way. Let me try a Terrell Buckley. Now, granted, Terrell Buckley has been coaching, but even if Terrell Buckley hasn't been coaching, because he's from Mississippi, tied to the area, very well familiar with it, it makes logical sense. Why not take a flyer? All I'm saying is every situation can have to sit there and say, let me take a proven winner, because we've done it and we've done it before, and we don't have any success doing it that way.
So, because I've been around a lot longer than you have. Name me a coach that come from a losing program that took over a program and turned it around. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Thank you. It's crickets.
Hold on. Well, I'm going off the dome, but it's plenty out there now. You know what I know. If I get on this keyboard and get the look at,
hold on, wait a minute. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna give you one real quick. He didn't win nothing. Pete Carroll left the NFL, went to SC. He was known as people when he hired him at SC said, why they hire him there? But coach, let me roll something to you, because you've been saying this about these jobs, okay? At FAMU, when FAMU job was open, you know how many people applied for that job, coach?
Bunch.
100 coaches. Do you hear what I just said? Yeah. So what my question is to you is, you saying all these people are sitting on the bench. Then my question, when Valley was open, when UAPB was open, when Norfolk State was open, when Delaware State was open, all these guys you're talking about, I need for them to come on this show and say, I apply for those jobs.
Okay.
Exactly. Because my thing is, a lot of these people, coach, that you're talking about, they're sitting on the bench. And now you know these guys. Then I'm going to challenge you to have them come on the show.
Do we got time for me to get them on the phone?
Man, we got plenty of time. You show me a coach. Yeah, we got plenty of time, because I'm telling you, these guys, see, they're doing a lot of talking, but you tell me if these guys apply for that job at Valley that was just up, and I'll tell you, wherever they went to school, I give them $100 to donate their name.
Let me say this. Y'all don't think Steve McNair applied for every damn job was open? Who applied for every coach? Odom's name is up at Central State.
Hold on, coach.
No. I'm asking you the question, because those jobs came open and we knew who they were. And you're talking about all these guys sitting on the bench got championship pedigree. And I'm going to say this. At FAMU, it was 100 guys that said, I want that job. 100.
So let me interject something that I think Zoe brought up a great point, I think, early in the conversation by saying this. Not everybody can win everywhere, right? And I'll say this. Everybody who fails doesn't fail for the same reasons, right? Some people fail because lack of resources. Some people fail because they can't recruit, right? Some people fail by a combination of things, right? Let's go back to Norfolk State.
Hold on, before you do that, Coach, where did you go to school at?
He froze up.
Coach, where did you go to school at?
Texas Southern University.
You were the fine quarterback at Texas Southern, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm quite sure you're familiar with the coaching lineage at Texas Southern, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there happened to be a particular coach that came to Texas Southern, and he won previously before he came to Texas Southern. And I could be wrong, but I'm going to ask you, since you were Texas Southern alum, Bill Thomas, how did he do at Texas Southern?
Bill Thomas was terrible.
Okay, what did Bill Thomas do?
Bill Thomas did have two. Hold on, let me.
Hold on.
You asked me a question, Coach.
I just want to know what
Bill Thomas took over. You gonna let me? Bill Thomas took over Tennessee State from John Merritt and Coach Gilliam, and they had finished 11-0, 10-0 every year. He took over a program and went 11-0. Bill Thomas did. But by the time Bill Thomas was at the end of his Tennessee State, they went 0-11. 0-11. We even beat them at Texas Southern. He comes to Texas Southern, Coach. He's right there in the middle of the road. All right. He has one, I want to say maybe 2 winning seasons. Okay. But let me tell you, it's just like you said. There's some places you don't go for what you're trying to do. Between coach and some administrators, Coach, they screwed us up. Screwed us up. Then we got, now, I'm going to say something. Then we went and got my man from Howard. But by that time, he was out as well. Okay? Here's the thing do you know who coached me, Joe, at Texas Southern?
What, the High Tower?
He's in the Hall of Fame.
What, the High Tower?
He's the first African-American offensive coordinator in the pros. That's who coached me. We had Ben McGee in the pros from Grambling. We had Frank Lewis in the pros. You know what I mean? We had all these professional football players coaching us, and we got our ass kicked.
Now, so I'm going to say this. I picked this up, right? So I'm looking, because, now, I just want you to know, because I pulled it up, because Google is a beautiful thing. So Bill Thomas never went 0-11 at Tennessee State. He had a 34-20-3 record there. Now, he only had one losing season his last year. He was 3-7-1. But my gosh, he got to Texas Southern, and he went 50-58.
And that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
No, okay. So that goes back.
Texas Southern, if you looked at our overall record, that was pretty good.
But Zoe, this is what I'm saying, and I was going to get to this point. Winning looks different at every school, Zoe.
Yes, sir. It does.
And here's my point, is that as a coach, I think you have to identify, or as an administrator, you have to identify why your school isn't winning, why Mississippi Valley is a perennial loser when they have 2 schools in their state, right, that are what you would consider historically successful programs. Alcorn State recently, and historically Jackson State. Why can't Mississippi Valley have that same success? I don't know that, but whoever is the hiring authority, the president, the AD, they must know why they are failing historically in order to make the right hire.
But here's the thing. See, with Valley not sustaining success, it's not just the coaches that they hire. Because like I mentioned, Larry Dorsey has a semblance of success there, right? But hell, even my guy Archie Cooley, right? Even when he was there, for all the fame that they had for 2 years, they didn't win a conference title. Valley has never won a conference title, right? So you get Willie Titan to come back and coach. I think they have 1 year where they go 5-6 or 6-5. Only 1 year. So again, you look at they've made some good hires, but it's been other things. We look at Dancy, right? Dancy came in, former Jack State player. He was the defensive coordinator on Comedy staff. Comedy came in, known as a winner. All these different stops. Man couldn't smell 500 at Valley, right? But that's a good coach, right? And that was a damn good hire when you look on the basis of it. But we also know why he got hired. He needed to get his retirement from the state of Mississippi, so we understood that. But then you promote Dancy, right? Damn good coach. Look at his trip that he's on right now, and he couldn't even smell 500 at Valley, right? Because there are other. There's other.
Where did he come from, Coach? After coming to the head coach, where did he come from?
Where
was he at before then? Before he took over?
He was at Jack State.
Okay, as assistant.
Yes.
But who was the coach then? They didn't win no championship. That's all I want to say. He came off of a bad staff.
Yeah, but look what he's doing now.
Oh shit, coach! That don't mean he ain't a good assistant. That don't mean he ain't.
I mean, hold on. He had Valley competitive.
Yeah.
I tell you what. But you saying that, but hey, what about Coventry? Because Coventry won at Jackson State. Coventry won at Tuskegee. Sam Shade could be at Valley right now. I don't feel the same way about Sam Shade at Valley as I do Terrell Buckley at Valley.
Let me
ask you this here, Zoe, before we move on, because I want to hammer this point. Could Deion Sanders do what he did at Jackson State at Valley?
I don't believe so. No.
I don't believe to the magnitude that he did it.
No.
I don't believe to the magnitude. And I had the same argument with my homeboys. I don't think he would have done it to the magnitude that he done it. You know, Etabini ain't even a media place. Shit, you know. But here's the thing, the guys I see, of course, through my lens, because you know I've done it. You know,
what couldn't he have overcome in Etabini? That's why I'm asking.
I mean, take a pick.
I will say that he would not have gotten the level of players to come to Etabini. I don't care who he was.
I had an argument about would the Heisman Trophy would have came to Etabini to play for Deion.
No.
I said no. That's what I said.
No way.
Rocky, have you ever been to Etabini?
No, sir.
Okay.
When you go, you won't actually.
My college room.
In a small
the only thing I know is my college roommate, Tyrone Montgomery, the little brother of Wilbur Montgomery, and my roommate in college. He was from somewhere around there. I want to say he was from Greenville, and he was country as a pork chop sandwich. And
Montgomery played backup to Walter Payton, left Jackson State, ended up going to somewhere in Texas.
Abilene Christian, wasn't it like some Abilene something?
Abilene Christian.
So Wilbur was at Jackson State.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the white man came and got him, actually illegally.
All right. I'm gonna give y'all an analogy
on the field because he was behind Walter Payton and Ricky Young.
Yeah. I'm gonna give y'all an analogy, and then y'all answer this question. How come every head coach or coach who comes from the Nick Saban tree go right to the championship? They were nothing before. They go work on Nick Saban's staff and go. My brother worked on one of his staff, and they go straight to the championship. Tell me why? Because they've been in. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because they know how to cross T's and how to dot I's because they learned them from a championship. See, you guys are kind of talking it from the outside, nothing away because you guys are very, very knowledgeable. Never taking nothing away. But when you're on the inside and you see a program goes from nothing to something, and you got a head man in front of you that's crossing the T's and dotting the I's and wearing your ass out about why you don't know where this is, and you see those guys start embracing that and seeing where that's important at. But one thing about Nick Saban, he can't keep a coach long now. Them guys are flying out of there, but they're flying to these head jobs. Look at them, boy, at Sarkeesian, Texas.
Well, let me say this. This is one, and Zoe, tell me why this doesn't happen on HBCU level. In my opinion, if I'm Prairie View, who else had a vacancy in the SWAC this year? Alabama State, Alabama A&M,
And Valley.
Valley.
If I'm one of those guys, I'm taking somebody off Jackson State staff. They're not just gonna keep the same coaches and do the same thing next year. I'm getting somebody.
Wait a minute, Rocky. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna go Terrell Bucket. You can say what you want to get. That don't mean they're gonna come there. Why would somebody from Jackson State leave to go up to Mississippi? It's not happening. Terrell Buckley just told you that.
Why you say Terrell Buckley?
Because Terrell Buckley told us it was guys he wanted that just like, bruh, and I'm talking these his brothers. Like, bruh, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm saying where does Coach O get a head job at if it's how does Coach O and the defense coordinator turn down a head job at Valley, Prairie View, or Alabama A&M? How do they turn those jobs down?
Coach O.
Because guess what? You don't just take a head coaching job just because a head coaching job is available. I mean, because if I want a job, I still want a job where I can feel like I can have some success. I mean, look, there's no data to show you that you can have success at Valley. So why would I take that job at Valley when I've seen what it is and what it looked like?
What about Prairie View?
Okay, well, guess what? My thing is, well, I'm happy where I am. Coach O's from Jackson. And I'm going to say this, unpopular opinion, not every assistant coach wants to be a head coach.
That ain't no unpopular opinion. That's a fact. That's not unpopular opinion. That's a lot of guys that just want to coach. And they don't want the headache of the
I'm going
politics.
to tell you this. It ain't too many guys going to turn down no damn head job.
No. And here's the deal at Prairie View.
I don't care.
You're talking about 340. At Prairie View, you're talking 340. How many of those guys on Jackson State staff can turn down 340?
Well, I mean, he's not getting paid no 340. What are you talking about?
What?
340 what?
1,000.
Nobody from Valley made no $340,000.
No.
Oh,
I said
he said
Prairie View.
Oh.
Prairie View.
But see, hold on. See, now you're going back to my point. So there's not turning it down because Prairie View had a person like Tremaine Jackson that at the high level wanted that job. See, hey man, choices are made because of what the girl looked like. Okay, let's go back to my point.
I want y'all now check his background. Every coach, check Tremaine's background.
I tell you what. Tremaine got what he got paid because of his resume. Not every coach that's going to coach at Prairie View is getting paid the same amount of money. Willie Simmons didn't get paid $340,000 at Prairie View.
But Willie Simmons didn't come from Division II national championship.
You just proved my point. You proved my point. What I'm saying is,
he was getting 300 at FAMU, and he hadn't won nothing.
So what I'm getting at, but FAMU was a blue blood job in this space. What I'm saying,
and he was winning 9 games. I tell you what, you start winning 9 games, 3-4, you're going to get that money
because he was a champion.
But that's
he won at Alcorn. He won at Prairie View.
You can't say I'm going to turn down $3,000 or $4,000 because everybody's not getting the same offer. But I want to pose this question to Coach because you mentioned Jerry Mack a little while earlier, right? So I'm going to ask you this because back when we first hired Harold Jackson, there were 3 finalists for the Jackson State job, right? And Harold Jackson should be in NFL Hall of Fame, former Jackson player.
I'm gonna say something so when you finish. Go ahead.
Hold on. There were 3 finalists for that job. It was Harold Jackson, Tony Hughes, and Jerry Mack. And Jerry Mack is a former Jackson State player, by the way, for y'all that don't know.
I recruited him, coach, out of high school. Been knowing him since he was 19.
Now watch this. Those were the 3 finalists. Jackson State goes and hire Harold Jackson. We saw the way that goes. And then he gets let go. So they say, hey, let's right or wrong, and we're going to hire Tony Hughes. So the one guy that we didn't hire leaves that interview and gets the job at North Carolina Central. Proceeds in his very first year to win the MEAC or tie for a championship with the MEAC. So, Coach, here's the thing. So before Jerry Mack won at North Carolina Central, what was he doing?
He was being assistant coach.
Okay, then. So what winning pedigree does he have?
Playing at Jackson State, maybe?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No. So again, because his first year he had T.C. Taylor at that time.
What was guaranteed that he would take?
Go ahead. That time, T.C. Taylor became the OC. Do you know where T.C. Taylor came to North Carolina Central from?
No.
Do you know what?
Hey, I'm sorry. Say that again.
Do you know where T.C. Taylor joined Jerry Mack at North Carolina Central?
From a junior college in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry, Coach. Go say that again.
I said, do you know where T.C. Taylor was prior to being at North Carolina Central? At the OC?
No, I
He was
don't.
at Texas Southern.
At Southern University?
Texas Southern.
Oh, okay. Right.
And you know he wasn't winning there.
No, he wasn't.
So all this winning pedigree that you said that you got to have because they won the MEAC 3 years in a row or tied for the crown 3 years in a row. So what winning pedigree did they have?
Okay, you found one straw in the haystack.
It's a bunch of them. It's a small haystack and it's a bunch of them.
But Coach, now, Joe, let's go back to Harold Jackson, the professional football player, 60 years old, gonna come back and turn around Jackson State.
Okay.
How did that work out?
You saw the way it worked out. I mean,
then we went in hard. PWI, my man, after him. How did that work out?
It didn't work great.
How did Coach Bell work out?
We don't mention that name.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
But hold on, because Bell had a great resume. I mean, he was a coordinator at Wake Forest, coached in Indiana. All the things that you say that you love, he had that.
No. So Wake Forest and Indiana, I don't even have to do the research.
What you mean? No, he wasn't the head. Hold on. He wasn't the head coach.
No. I'm saying that neither one of those programs are winning pedigree.
No. Again, you quote the wrong thing. When it relates to his resume, you're looking at you can't say winning programs. He wasn't
Okay.
His experience.
Hold on. Because at that time, Indiana had a damn good defense. His resume was actually good. You can pull it up now.
Yeah, I know
His
Coach
collegiate
Bell.
resume was good. He was a horrible coach.
Coach Bell very well. I know.
Horrible coach.
Yeah.
So, but guess what? His resume was.
He's a good man, though.
Hold on. His resume was everything that Coach loved. You see, got quiet, didn't it? Everything that Coach loved, his resume had.
No. I'll keep on telling you. I know him personally, Coach. I mean, I know him. His family, great man, and everything else. But he was not an HBCU guy. Period. But I'm not saying because he didn't go to HBCU.
But
I'm saying his personality.
But his resume was everything the way you like. We did it the way that you would like to have it done. Can we not?
No, let's go to this, though.
So he want to change something now.
Man, let's go to this. How do you feel about the administration's hiring practice?
Who?
Because one thing we all can agree on, in PWIs, they're going after championship guys because we understand that it's important. I mean, they got a reason to.
But they may go ahead and too.
Do you agree with HBCU's hiring practices?
Sometimes.
My name is James Jr., and I want $500 on the lunch money for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.